Lord Shiva, the Destroyer and Transformer. Part 1, The Cosmic Dancer. Shiva's Tandava and the Rhythm of Creation. The image of Shiva as Nataraja, the cosmic dancer, captures the essence of his dual nature as both destroyer and creator. His dance, the Tandava, is not merely a performance, but a profound cosmic event that orchestrates the universe's ceaseless cycle of creation, preservation, and destruction. Each movement is pregnant with meaning, representing a fundamental principle of existence. The violent, energetic rhythm of the dance symbolizes the raw, untamed power of the cosmos, a force that can dismantle worlds. Yet within this destructive frenzy lies the promise of renewal. The dance is an act of purification, clearing away the old to make space for the new, a necessary and beautiful chaos that underpins all life. This is the heart of Shiva's role as the transformer, using destruction as a catalyst for rebirth. Shiva's Tandava is a dance of paradoxes, embodying both profound stillness and dynamic motion. While his limbs whirl with cosmic energy, his face remains serene and detached, a picture of absolute calm. This tranquility in the midst of chaos illustrates the yogic ideal of remaining centered and unperturbed by the world's constant flux. His outstretched hand, the Abhaya Mudra, offers solace and protection to his devotees, assuring them that even amidst the terrifying dance of destruction, there is no need for fear. The ring of fire surrounding him represents the eternal cycle of the universe, a continuous process of birth and death from which there is no escape. Shiva dances not to intimidate, but to reveal this truth, to show that a peaceful acceptance of this cycle is the only path to liberation. The drum, or damaru, held in Shiva's upper right hand, is the source of the cosmic sound from which all creation emanates. The rhythmic beat of the drum is the primordial vibration, the sound of existence itself. This sound is a reminder that everything in the universe, from the smallest atom to the largest galaxy, is in a state of vibration and motion. The fire in his upper left hand represents the transformative power of destruction. This fire consumes all things, burning away illusion and ignorance to reveal the pure, unvarnished truth. These two elements, sound and fire, creation and destruction, work in tandem, showing that Shiva's dance is a delicate balance of opposing forces. It is this balance that maintains the harmony and order of the cosmos. Shiva's lower left hand points to his upraised foot, a symbol of liberation. This gesture invites his devotees to seek refuge at his feet, promising salvation from the cycle of birth and death. The demon Apasmara, representing ignorance and ego, is crushed under his foot. This is a potent visual metaphor for how true spiritual knowledge, personified by Shiva's dance, conquers the very ignorance that binds us. Apasmara's defeat is not a violent act of dominance, but a necessary step for the soul's progression. By dancing on this demon, Shiva demonstrates that the path to enlightenment requires us to overcome our own limitations and false perceptions. His dance is a lesson in spiritual freedom, a call to rise above the earthly attachments that weigh us down. The symbolism of Shiva's dance extends beyond the purely cosmic. It is also a deeply personal journey for the individual seeker. The Tandava is a dance of inner transformation, a powerful metaphor for the process of spiritual awakening. The chaos of the dance mirrors the turmoil of the human mind, the constant battle between desires and duties, emotions and reason. By embracing the rhythm of this dance, one can find a way to navigate this internal chaos and achieve a state of inner peace. The stillness of Shiva's face, in the midst of the dance, serves as a guide for how to remain centered and grounded, even when the world around us feels like it is falling apart. It is a reminder that the path to self-realization is not about controlling the external world, but about mastering one's internal landscape. The very name Nataraja, king of dancers, highlights Shiva's supreme artistry. His dance is an expression of divine bliss, Ananda Tandava, a celebration of existence in its totality. It is a dance of joy that encompasses both the sublime and the terrible. This dance is not performed for an audience, but is a self-contained expression of the universe's own vitality. It is the rhythmic pulse that drives all of creation, the force that gives form to the formless. The Tandava shows us that creation and destruction are not separate events, but two sides of the same coin, each one dependent on the other. It is a beautiful and terrifying truth that is at the very core of Shiva's identity, making him the ultimate representation of cosmic dynamism. The Tandava is a dynamic meditation, a form of active prayer that connects the practitioner to the universal consciousness. Through the dance, Shiva embodies the 5 cosmic activities: Srishti, creation; Sthiti, preservation; Samhara, destruction; Tirobhava, illusion; and Anugraha, liberation. He is the master of all these forces, the one who initiates and concludes every cycle of time. His dance is the ultimate performance, the grand symphony of the universe in motion. It is a visual and visceral representation of the very principles that govern our reality. The energy of his movements reminds us that life is not a static state, but a continuous process of change, a dance of perpetual becoming. This cosmic dance also has a strong connection to earthly, human experience. It reflects the cyclical nature of our own lives, the constant process of growth, stagnation, and renewal. We are all dancers on the stage of life, moving through our own personal Tandava. The triumphs and tragedies, the joys and sorrows, are all part of this grand cosmic ballet. Shiva's dance encourages us to embrace all aspects of our existence, to see the beauty in both the light and the shadow. It teaches us that true liberation comes not from escaping the dance, but from fully participating in it, with awareness and a sense of surrender. The representation of Shiva as Nataraja is a profound philosophical statement. It is a symbol that encapsulates the entire Hindu cosmology in a single image. The dance is not just an artistic expression. It is a profound truth revealed through motion. It tells us that destruction is not the end but a beginning, that in every death there is the seed of new life. Shiva, the destroyer, is therefore not a fearsome deity of annihilation, but a loving and compassionate transformer who clears the path for evolution and growth. He is the divine force that purges the universe of stagnation, ensuring that the cosmic rhythm continues to pulse with life and vitality. The image of Shiva as the cosmic dancer is a testament to the idea that the universe is a living, breathing entity, constantly in flux. It shows us that every action has a reaction, every end is a new beginning. The Tandava is a reminder that change is the only constant. Shiva's dance is the pulse of the universe, and we are all part of that rhythm. It is a dance of life, death, and rebirth, a cycle that we are all inextricably a part of. The cosmic dancer shows us how to find peace and purpose in this endless flow, how to move with grace through the chaos of existence. Ultimately, Shiva's Tandava is an invitation to look beyond the superficial and to understand the deeper truths of existence. It is a call to recognize the divinity within ourselves, to see that our own struggles and transformations are part of a larger cosmic dance. The Nataraja is a symbol of hope and a guide for spiritual liberation. It shows us that, by embracing the process of destruction and renewal, we can find true freedom and peace. It is a reminder that the ultimate act of creation is the transformation of the self. Part 2. Mount Kailash, the mythical home no one can climb. Mount Kailash stands as a towering and enigmatic symbol of Lord Shiva's divine presence on earth. Located in the remote Himalayan ranges of Tibet, it is revered by Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, and followers of the Bon religion. For Hindus, it is the sacred abode of Shiva and his consort, Parvati. The mountain's pyramid-like shape and its four faces, each representing a different direction, lend to its mystical and almost otherworldly appearance. Unlike other famous peaks that have been summited by countless adventurers, Mount Kailash remains unconquered. This is not due to its technical difficulty, but because of a deep-seated spiritual belief that to climb the mountain would be to desecrate its sanctity. The mountain is considered the axis mundi, the cosmic center of the universe, a point where the earthly and divine realms meet. The unclimbed nature of Mount Kailash is a powerful testament to the spiritual reverence it inspires. It is believed that the peak is a direct physical manifestation of Shiva's pure ascetic consciousness. To set foot on its slopes with the intention of conquering it would be an act of ego, a human attempt to master a divine space. The surrounding region is a powerful place for spiritual practice and meditation. Many sages and mystics have sought to draw closer to Shiva by making the pilgrimage a difficult and long trek around the mountain, known as the Kora or Parikrama. This journey is meant to be a metaphor for the spiritual path itself, full of challenges and hardships, but ultimately rewarding with profound inner peace and a sense of connection to the divine. The Kora around Mount Kailash is a grueling 52-kilometer trek that takes several days to complete, and many pilgrims undertake it with a deep sense of devotion, often prostrating themselves the entire way. This physical hardship is seen as a way to burn off karma and purify the soul. The mountain itself is a source of two of Asia's most important rivers, the Indus and the Brahmaputra, as well as two significant lakes, Lake Manasarovar and Lake Rakshastal. Lake Manasarovar is considered sacred, and a dip in its waters is believed to cleanse all sins. Lake Rakshastal, on the other hand, is known as the Demon's Lake and is said to be a place of penance, a stark contrast that reflects Shiva's duality. The spiritual significance of Mount Kailash is woven into the very fabric of ancient Hindu scriptures. It is described as the peak of a mythical mountain range called Meru, the heart of the world. In the Puranas, it is portrayed as a magnificent abode where Shiva sits in deep meditation, his energy radiating out to all corners of the universe. He is often depicted as a yogi, seated on a tiger skin, with the crescent moon in his hair, and the Ganga river flowing from his matted locks. This imagery solidifies his connection to the mountain as a place of ultimate tranquility and spiritual power. It is here that he embodies the ultimate ascetic, detached from the material world, yet holding the power to create and destroy all things. The belief that Mount Kailash is an unapproachable divine sanctuary is a powerful deterrent for climbers. Legends tell of those who have tried to ascend the mountain and have either vanished or met with unexplained misfortune. These stories serve as a reminder that some places are not meant for human conquest, but for reverence and spiritual humility. The sanctity of the mountain is maintained not just by human belief, but by an invisible divine force. It is the mountain of the soul, a place that can only be reached through inner journey and spiritual discipline, not through physical prowess. The challenge of Kailash is not to climb its peak, but to conquer one's own ego. The mountain's remoteness adds to its mystique. It is a place untouched by the hustle and bustle of modern life, a serene and silent abode that reflects the quietude of Shiva himself. The journey to Kailash is a pilgrimage in the truest sense of the word, requiring a deep commitment and a willingness to endure hardship. This pilgrimage is not just a geographical trip, but a spiritual one, a journey inward, to confront one's own limitations and to seek a connection with the divine. The very act of approaching the mountain is considered an act of profound devotion and a way of drawing closer to the ultimate reality that Shiva represents. The four-faced nature of the mountain holds a deep symbolic meaning. Each face is said to be made of a different precious material: crystal, ruby, gold, and lapis lazuli. This represents the four directions and the four facets of Shiva's being: his role as a creator, a preserver, a destroyer, and a liberator. The mountain is therefore not a static object, but a living, breathing entity that embodies the totality of Shiva's cosmic power. It is a place of profound energy and spiritual resonance, a beacon for all those on the path of self-discovery and enlightenment. Mount Kailash is a powerful paradox, a visible, physical landmark that is, in a way, entirely invisible and untouchable. Its existence on Earth provides a tangible point of focus for millions of devotees, a place where their prayers and meditations can be directed. Yet its unapproachable nature reminds them that the ultimate goal is not an external one, but an internal transformation. The mountain is a symbol of the divine within, a sacred space that can be accessed not by climbing, but by introspection and surrender. It is a reminder that the most profound journeys are those we take within ourselves, and the ultimate destination is the realization of our own divine nature. Part 3. Ardhanarishvara, the god who is half-woman. The form of Ardhanarishvara, literally, the Lord who is half-woman, is one of the most profound and unique representations of Lord Shiva. This deity is depicted as a fusion of Shiva and his consort, Parvati, also known as Shakti, with the right half of the body being male and the left half female. This image is not merely a mythological or artistic representation, but a powerful philosophical statement on the nature of reality. It embodies the union of the masculine and feminine principles, showing that these two forces are not separate or opposing, but are two halves of a single cosmic whole. The form of Ardhanarishvara beautifully illustrates the idea that the universe and all existence are born from the harmonious balance and interplay of these two energies. The right side of Ardhanarishvara, representing Shiva, is typically shown with his traditional attributes: matted hair, a crescent moon, a snake around his neck, and a tiger skin wrapped around his waist. This half embodies Purusha, the cosmic male principle, which is pure consciousness, static and formless. It is the unmanifest potential. The left side, representing Parvati, is adorned with a sari, jewelry, and is often depicted with a gentle, serene expression. This half embodies Prakriti, the cosmic female principle, which is energy, power, and matter. It is the dynamic force that brings consciousness into form, creating the manifest world. Without the union of these two, there would be no creation. The concept of Ardhanarishvara transcends simple gender identity. It speaks to the fundamental dualities that define our reality: creation and destruction, stillness and motion, light and shadow. The form of the deity shows that these dualities are not in conflict, but are in constant, necessary cooperation. One cannot exist without the other. Shiva, as pure consciousness, cannot manifest the world without the dynamic energy of Shakti. Similarly, Shakti's energy would be directionless without the guiding presence of Shiva's consciousness. Ardhanarishvara is the embodiment of this perfect synergy, a reminder that true power lies in balance and integration, not in separation. This divine fusion is a powerful teaching for humanity, encouraging us to recognize and integrate both our masculine and feminine qualities. Within every individual, both a Shiva and a Shakti reside. The masculine side represents logic, reason, and the drive to act, while the feminine side embodies intuition, creativity, and nurturing. A balanced and complete human being is one who has harmoniously integrated these two aspects of their nature. The form of Ardhanarishvara challenges us to move beyond rigid gender roles and to embrace the full spectrum of our being. It teaches that true spiritual wholeness comes from this internal union, the recognition that we are both creator and creation, both consciousness and energy. The story behind the form of Ardhanarishvara varies, but a common myth tells of a time when the sage Bringi, a devotee of Shiva, would only pay homage to Shiva, completely ignoring Parvati. To teach the sage a lesson in the equality and inseparability of the divine couple, Shiva merged with Parvati, revealing their true, unified form. This myth underscores the central message of the form, that the divine feminine is not subordinate to the divine masculine, but is an equal and indispensable part of the cosmic whole. This story served to correct the imbalance of spiritual practice that privileged one deity over another, emphasizing the need for a holistic approach to worship and understanding. Ardhanarishvara is also a representation of the ultimate reality, Brahman, which is beyond all dualities. In this form, Shiva and Parvati transcend their individual identities to become a single, non-dualistic entity. It symbolizes the idea that the ultimate truth is a unified field of consciousness and energy, from which all of existence arises and into which all of existence will eventually dissolve. This form is a visual meditation on the nature of non-duality, showing that the seemingly separate aspects of reality are, in fact, one and the same. It is a profound philosophical statement on the interconnectedness of all things and the underlying unity of the cosmos. The aesthetic beauty of the Ardhanarishvara form is a powerful tool for spiritual contemplation. The contrast between the two halves, with their different ornaments, textures, and expressions, draws the viewer's attention to the paradox of unity and diversity. The serene male half and the gentle female half together create a composite image of perfect harmony. This image has inspired countless works of art and devotion, serving as a beacon for those who seek to understand the nature of the divine and the sacred dance between opposing forces. It is a reminder that the path to enlightenment is not about choosing one side over the other, but about embracing the whole. In essence, Ardhanarishvara is the ultimate symbol of cosmic balance and integration. It tells us that destruction and creation are not forces to be feared or revered in isolation, but are two parts of a single continuous process. Shiva, the destroyer and transformer, is incomplete without Parvati, the great mother and creative energy. Their union, in the form of Ardhanarishvara, reveals the true nature of Shiva's transformative power. It is a power that is both male and female, both active and passive, both consciousness and energy. It is a holistic power that encompasses all of reality. Part 4. The Third Eye, Inner Vision that Burns Illusion. The third eye of Lord Shiva is perhaps one of his most distinctive and powerful symbols, a mark of his profound spiritual insight and transformative power. Located on his forehead between the eyebrows, it is more than just a physical feature. It represents his eye of inner knowledge, intuition, and wisdom. This eye is the source of his all-seeing vision, allowing him to perceive beyond the veil of physical reality and to see the true nature of things. It is often depicted as closed, a symbol of his deep meditative state, but when opened, it unleashes a formidable and destructive power, a searing fire that consumes all that is false, a fire that burns away illusion and ego. The power of the third eye is most famously illustrated in the story of Kama, the god of love. The Puranas recount that Kama attempted to disturb Shiva's deep meditation by shooting an arrow of desire at him, hoping to awaken his love for Parvati. In response to this interruption, Shiva opened his third eye in a flash of anger and incinerated Kama to ashes. This act is not one of mere rage, but a symbolic one. It represents Shiva's ultimate victory over desire and attachment, the very forces that bind living beings to the cycle of birth and death. The fire of the third eye is not a weapon of indiscriminate destruction. It is a purifying force that burns away the very seeds of illusion, allowing for a new and higher reality to emerge. The third eye is often referred to as the eye of knowledge or jnana chakshu. It is the inner vision that allows Shiva to perceive the past, present, and future simultaneously, a truth that is inaccessible to the physical eyes. This omniscient quality is a central aspect of his role as the ultimate yogi. The ability to see beyond the surface and to discern the true nature of reality is the goal of all spiritual practice. Shiva's third eye is a constant reminder that true power lies not in physical strength, but in spiritual awareness and inner sight. It represents the awakening of our own higher consciousness, the moment we begin to see the world not as it appears, but as it truly is. In yogic tradition, the third eye corresponds to the Ajna chakra, the energy center located between the eyebrows. This chakra is considered the seat of intuition, spiritual insight, and higher consciousness. The activation of this chakra is said to lead to profound spiritual awakening and the ability to perceive things beyond the five senses. Shiva, with his perpetually active third eye, is the master of this chakra, the one who has transcended all dualities and has achieved a state of complete awareness. He is the ultimate guide for all who seek to open their own third eye and to find inner wisdom. His power to destroy with a single glance is a metaphor for the mind's ability to burn away ignorance with the light of knowledge. The fire that emanates from Shiva's third eye is also a symbol of his transformative power. In a cosmic sense, it is the fire of dissolution, the pralaya agni, which at the end of a cosmic cycle will consume the entire universe, clearing the way for a new creation. This is Shiva's role as the destroyer. However, this destruction is not an act of malice but an act of grace. It is a necessary and cleansing process that purifies the universe of its accumulated negative karma and illusion, allowing for a fresh start. The third eye is therefore both a destructive and a creative force, for in every act of destruction, there is the potential for new life. The significance of the third eye also lies in its warning against the dangers of unbridled emotional and spiritual energy. The story of Kama illustrates what happens when divine energy is misused or improperly directed. The fire of Shiva's third eye is a reminder that spiritual power must be wielded with great care and detachment. It is not a tool for ego-driven actions, but a force of cosmic order. The closed eye of Shiva symbolizes his peaceful, meditative state, a state of perfect balance and control. It is only when this balance is disturbed by external forces that the eye opens, unleashing its power to restore harmony. In a personal context, the third eye serves as a powerful metaphor for self-realization. The journey to enlightenment is a process of burning away our own illusions, our false identities, our attachments, and our ignorance. Just as Shiva's third eye incinerated Kama, our own inner vision can burn away the ego that prevents us from seeing our true divine nature. The third eye is not something we gain. It is something we awaken. It is a reminder that the path to liberation is an internal one, a journey of profound introspection and self-discovery. Ultimately, Shiva's third eye is a symbol of his role as the ultimate transformer. It is the eye of wisdom that sees through the temporary and the illusory, and it is the fire of destruction that clears the path for a new beginning. It embodies the powerful truth that true transformation requires the courage to burn away the old, to make space for the new, both on a cosmic scale and within the human heart. Part 5. Shiva and Parvati, Sacred Romance and Yogic Union. The relationship between Lord Shiva and his consort, Parvati, is one of the most profound and multifaceted narratives in Hindu mythology. It is a story of divine romance, sacred union, and the perfect balance between two complementary forces. Their relationship transcends the typical portrayal of a married couple. It is a living embodiment of the union of Purusha, pure consciousness, and Prakriti, primordial energy. Shiva, the supreme ascetic and yogi, represents the formless, static potential, while Parvati, the daughter of the mountains, embodies the dynamic, creative energy of the universe. Their sacred romance is not one of mere passion, but of a deep, yogic union that gives rise to all of existence. The story of their union is a testament to the power of devotion and penance. After the death of his first wife, Sati, Shiva retreated into a state of deep mourning and rigorous asceticism on Mount Kailash. The universe in his absence began to lose its creative rhythm. The gods, desperate to restore balance, sought to awaken him from his trance. Parvati, a reincarnation of Sati, undertook a series of severe penances to win Shiva's affection. She sat in meditation, endured extreme weather, and deprived herself of all comforts. Her unwavering devotion and steadfastness were what finally moved Shiva, proving that true love and commitment are the only forces that can awaken the most reclusive of souls. This narrative teaches that the path to divine union requires discipline, perseverance, and a deep, unshakable love. Their marriage is a symbolic representation of the integration of opposites. Shiva, the wandering ascetic who rejects all societal norms, finds his perfect match in Parvati, the gentle householder who brings stability and warmth. She tames his wild nature not by force, but by love and companionship. Their union creates a powerful synthesis of two seemingly contradictory ways of life. Shiva's wild, untamed energy is balanced by Parvati's grounded, nurturing presence. This sacred marriage gives birth to the entire cosmos, with their children, Ganesha and Kartikeya, representing creation and spiritual victory. The relationship shows that true love is not about two people becoming one, but about two distinct individuals complementing each other to create something greater than themselves. In many Hindu scriptures and traditions, Parvati is considered the source of Shiva's power. Without her, he is a dormant, inert force. She is his Shakti, the dynamic energy that drives him to action. This concept elevates the feminine principle to a position of equal importance to the masculine. Their union is a reminder that creation is impossible without the active participation of both consciousness and energy. Shiva provides the blueprint, the idea, and Parvati provides the force to make that idea a reality. This partnership is the cosmic engine that keeps the universe in motion, constantly creating, preserving, and transforming. It is the perfect embodiment of the ultimate truth, that the universe is a dance of masculine and feminine energies in perfect harmony. The scenes of their domestic life on Mount Kailash, often depicted in art and folklore, present a surprisingly relatable side to the divine couple. They are shown playing dice, sharing stories, and bickering in a playful manner. These scenes humanize the deities, showing that their love is not a cold, abstract concept, but a warm, living reality. The sacred romance of Shiva and Parvati is a model for human relationships, teaching us that love is a journey of mutual growth, respect, and companionship. It is not just about grand gestures, but about the small moments of intimacy and connection that make life meaningful. Their relationship embodies the idea that true spiritual growth happens not in isolation but in the context of a loving and supportive partnership. The story of Shiva and Parvati also speaks to Shiva's role as the transformer. His love for Parvati is a transformative force that brings him from a state of total detachment and sorrow to one of engagement and blissful union. Her presence awakens a different aspect of his nature, showing that even the great destroyer can be a loving and compassionate householder. This paradox is central to his character. He is the ascetic who is also the ideal husband, the god of destruction who is also the source of creation. This is the essence of his transformative power, the ability to hold seemingly contradictory roles in perfect balance, to be both a force of chaos and a source of harmony. The union of Shiva and Parvati is therefore a profound spiritual teaching. It is the ultimate expression of the non-dualistic reality that underpins all of existence. Their sacred romance is a cosmic dance of consciousness and energy, a powerful reminder that the universe is born from love and maintained through perfect harmony. Their story shows us that the path to liberation is not about rejecting the world, but about embracing it in its totality, finding the sacred in the mundane, and recognizing the divine in all relationships. Part 6. The Blue Throat. Why Shiva drank poison at the end of the world. The image of Shiva with a blue throat, known as Nilakantha, is a powerful and iconic representation of his compassion and his role as a preserver and a savior. This unique attribute is the result of a profound cosmic event known as the Samudra Manthan, the churning of the cosmic ocean. This epic story, recounted in ancient Hindu texts, is not merely a myth, but a powerful allegory for the challenges and dualities of life, and Shiva's response to them is the ultimate act of selfless sacrifice. It tells the tale of how the gods and demons came together to churn the ocean of milk to obtain Amrita, the nectar of immortality. The churning of the ocean was a massive undertaking, using the great serpent Vasuki as the churning rope and Mount Mandara as the churning staff. As the gods and demons pulled back and forth, the ocean began to yield various treasures. But before the Amrita could emerge, a deadly poison, halahala, began to spread from the depths of the ocean. This poison was so potent and destructive that it threatened to annihilate all of creation, the gods, the demons, and all living beings. The fear and panic were immediate, as no one had the power to stop the spreading poison. The entire universe was on the brink of annihilation, a moment of cosmic crisis where destruction threatened to consume everything. In their desperation, both the gods and demons turned to Lord Shiva for help. They knew that only he, with his supreme power and detachment, could save them from this catastrophe. Shiva, ever the compassionate and detached yogi, understood the gravity of the situation. He did not hesitate. Without a moment's thought for his own well-being, he gathered the entire mass of poison into his palm and drank it. The poison was so powerful that, as it traveled down his throat, it threatened to burn his body from the inside. His consort, Parvati, in an act of profound love and concern, placed her hand on his throat, preventing the poison from spreading to the rest of his body. The poison was thus contained in his throat, which turned a striking blue color, forever marking him as the one who absorbed the world's suffering. This act of self-sacrifice is the very definition of Shiva's role as the transformer. He transformed a force of absolute destruction into an act of preservation. The poison, a symbol of all the negativity, greed, and suffering in the universe, was not eliminated, but contained and neutralized by his divine power. The blue throat is a visual testament to his ability to hold and transform the darkest aspects of existence. He did not ask for thanks or recognition. He simply acted to restore cosmic order. This is a profound teaching, that true transformation often involves absorbing and transmuting negativity, rather than simply destroying it. It is an act of ultimate compassion and selfless service. The story of Nilakantha serves as a powerful metaphor for our own lives. We are often faced with our own versions of halahala, the toxic emotions, destructive desires, and negative energies that threaten to consume us. Shiva's act teaches us that instead of running away from or being destroyed by these poisons, we can confront them, contain them, and transform them. It is a lesson in spiritual alchemy, the process of turning life's challenges and suffering into wisdom and strength. Just as Shiva held the poison in his throat, we too can hold our own difficulties without letting them consume us, allowing them to become a source of profound growth. The name Nilakantha, the blue-throated one, is a title of honor and reverence for Shiva. It is a reminder that his power as the destroyer is not an act of malice, but an act of grace. He destroys the suffering of the world by absorbing it, and in doing so, he saves all of creation. This act elevates him from a mere mythological figure to a profound spiritual ideal. It shows that the true nature of the divine is not to be a distant, judgmental force, but a compassionate presence that is willing to take on the burdens of the world. The myth of Nilakantha also highlights the importance of the divine feminine. Parvati's presence and her loving touch were what saved Shiva from the poison's finality. This shows that the power of the masculine and the feminine work in tandem to restore order and harmony. Shiva's act of absorption was made possible by Parvati's love and support. Their union is a cosmic partnership where each plays a vital role in maintaining the balance of the universe. The blue throat is therefore not just a mark of Shiva's selflessness, but also a testament to the power of love and partnership in overcoming life's greatest challenges. In conclusion, the story of Shiva's blue throat is a profound teaching on compassion, self-sacrifice, and the transformative power of spiritual strength. It is a reminder that the path of the destroyer is often a path of ultimate preservation. Shiva, by drinking the world's poison, demonstrates that true power lies not in annihilating evil, but in transforming it with love and courage. This is the essence of his role as both destroyer and transformer, a deity who takes on the world's suffering to save it. Part 7. Shiva and the Ganga, a divine river tamed in matted hair. The myth of the descent of the river Ganga or Ganges and its taming by Lord Shiva is one of the most beloved and visually striking stories in Hindu mythology. It is a powerful allegory for Shiva's role as both a destroyer and a benevolent transformer, a deity who can contain and control the most immense forces of nature. The story explains why the sacred river is so deeply revered and why Shiva is often depicted with the Ganga flowing from his matted locks. It is a tale of humility, cosmic power, and the profound interconnectedness of the divine and the natural world. According to the Puranas, a great king named Bhagirath, a descendant of the Ikshvaku dynasty, performed severe penance for thousands of years to persuade the goddess Ganga to descend from her heavenly abode to the earth. His goal was to purify the ashes of his ancestors, the 60,000 sons of King Sagara, who had been burnt to ashes by the wrath of the sage Kapila. The waters of Ganga, being divine, were the only force potent enough to cleanse their sins and grant them salvation. Ganga, however, was a celestial river of immense force and pride. She warned Bhagirathi that if she were to descend in her full force, the earth would not be able to withstand the impact, and her waters would destroy everything in their path. Faced with this new and formidable challenge, Bhagirathi turned to Lord Shiva for help. He knew that only Shiva had the power to contain the fierce torrent of the river. He performed further penance, this time seeking Shiva's intervention. Shiva, moved by Bhagiratha's unwavering devotion and noble cause, agreed to receive the river on his head. As the Ganga descended from the heavens with a deafening roar and a colossal force, she believed her power would be enough to sweep Shiva away. But as she struck his head, she found herself hopelessly entangled in his thick, matted locks. The immense river was trapped in a few strands of hair, unable to escape. The Ganga, humbled by Shiva's supreme power, was now a gentle and contained stream. Shiva, seeing her humility, released her from his hair in a slow and controlled flow. The river then descended gracefully to the earth, following the path of Bhagirathi. The Ganga's descent was thus transformed from a potential catastrophe into a life-giving event. Shiva, in this act, did not destroy the river's power, but rather contained and guided it, transforming a force of destruction into a source of life and purification for all of humanity. This is a perfect example of his transformative power in action. He doesn't just annihilate, but he manages and redirects destructive energy for a higher purpose. The myth of Shiva and the Ganga is a powerful spiritual metaphor. The wild, untamed river represents the ego, our desires, and the chaos of the mind. The Ganga's arrogance in believing she could overwhelm Shiva is a reflection of the human ego's tendency to think it can conquer all. Shiva, with his matted hair, symbolizes the disciplined yogic consciousness that can absorb and neutralize the most turbulent forces without being disturbed. His ability to tame the river shows that true spiritual mastery is not about suppressing our passions, but about containing and redirecting them for a higher, more sacred purpose. The story teaches that the path to inner peace is not about eliminating our energies, but about channeling them wisely. This act of containing the Ganga also solidifies Shiva's role as a benevolent protector. By preventing the river from destroying the earth, he acted as a preserver of life. The image of the Ganga flowing from his hair makes him the ultimate source of spiritual cleansing and nourishment. For Hindus, the Ganga is more than a river. It is a living goddess, and her waters are believed to have the power to wash away sins and grant liberation. By holding her on his head, Shiva makes her accessible to all of humanity, turning her from a celestial force into a tangible source of grace and purification on earth. The myth also reinforces the idea of Shiva as a paradox, a wild, reclusive ascetic who is also deeply concerned with the welfare of the world. He is a god who is equally at home in the deepest meditation and in the midst of cosmic chaos. His willingness to help Bhagirathi, an ordinary mortal, shows his compassion and his availability to those who seek him with sincere devotion. He is a god who is both powerful enough to destroy worlds and gentle enough to hold a river on his head. In essence, the story of Shiva and the Ganga is a beautiful and enduring testament to his role as the great transformer. He took a force of potential destruction and made it into a life-giving force. He transformed the arrogance of a celestial river into humility and grace. He demonstrates that the ultimate spiritual act is not one of separation, but of integration, of taking the powerful and potentially destructive forces of life and bringing them into a state of balance and harmony for the benefit of all. Part 8. Ascetic and Householder, the God of Paradoxes. Lord Shiva is perhaps the most paradoxical of all the deities in the Hindu pantheon. He is the ultimate ascetic, a wild, wandering yogi who resides in cremation grounds, smeared with ash, his body covered by a tiger skin. He is the very embodiment of detachment, meditating for eons on Mount Kailash, oblivious to the world. Yet he is also the ideal householder, a loving husband to Parvati, and a doting father to his children, Ganesha and Kartikeya. He is the cosmic force of destruction, who is also the source of all creation, and the most compassionate of all gods. These seemingly contradictory roles are not a flaw in his character, but are at the very core of his identity, making him the ultimate representation of cosmic balance and the complexities of human existence. As an ascetic, Shiva shuns all social norms and material possessions. His home is the cremation ground, a place where all earthly attachments are burned away. This choice of residence is not a morbid one. It is a profound spiritual statement. The cremation ground is the final destination of all living beings, a reminder of the fleeting nature of life and the inevitability of death. By residing there, Shiva teaches his devotees to be detached from the illusions of the material world and to find peace in the ultimate reality of existence. His matted hair, body smeared with ash, and serpents around his neck are symbols of his rejection of societal standards and his profound spiritual power. He is the master of his own senses, and his asceticism is a demonstration of the power of self-control. At the same time, Shiva is deeply engaged in the world as a householder. His marriage to Parvati is a testament to his capacity for love, companionship, and emotional connection. Their life on Mount Kailash is a model of a harmonious domestic existence, complete with family joys and challenges. As the father of Ganesha, he is the embodiment of nurturing love and protective strength. This duality shows that spiritual liberation does not require a complete rejection of life. It teaches that one can be both spiritually advanced and fully engaged in the world, that it is possible to be detached from outcomes while still being deeply involved in relationships and responsibilities. He is a guide for those who seek to find a balance between their inner spiritual journey and their outer worldly duties. The paradox of Shiva is a reflection of the paradoxes of the universe itself. He is the god of creation and destruction, a force of order and chaos. His drum, the damaru, creates the rhythm of life, while the fire in his hand consumes all things. His third eye, a source of profound spiritual insight, can also incinerate all that is false. He is the benevolent savior who drinks the world's poison, and the fearsome destroyer who dances the Tandava. This ability to hold opposing forces in perfect balance is the key to his transformative power. He shows us that life is not about choosing one side over the other, but about embracing the totality of our existence. The figure of Shiva challenges our conventional understanding of divinity. He is not a god who conforms to expectations or lives in a perfectly manicured heaven. He is a god who embodies the raw, untamed, and often messy reality of the cosmos. His paradoxes are a mirror for our own inner struggles and contradictions. We are all both ascetics and householders in our own way, seeking detachment while being attached, striving for spiritual growth while being entangled in the world. Shiva's life teaches us that these are not contradictions, but two sides of the same coin, and that true wholeness lies in integrating them. His role as both a yogi and a family man provides a complete model for human existence. For those who seek a solitary path of meditation and self-realization, Shiva is the ultimate ideal. For those who choose a life of partnership and family, he is a compassionate guide. He shows that there is no single right way to live a spiritual life. The path to the divine is a personal one, and it can be found in the quietude of a cave or in the loving chaos of a home. This duality makes him a universally relatable deity, one who can be understood and revered by all. In essence, Shiva is the god of paradoxes because he is the god of transformation. He transforms the very concepts of destruction and creation, and he transforms the idea of divinity itself. He shows us that true power is not found in rigid purity, but in a flexible and balanced integration of all forces. He is a reminder that the most profound spiritual truths are often found in the most unexpected and contradictory places. Part 9. Devotees and Mystics, from Nayanars to rock musicians. The devotion to Lord Shiva has a long and rich history, spanning millennia and inspiring a vast and diverse community of followers. His appeal is not confined to a single tradition or social class. He is revered by ascetics and artists, mystics and householders, ancient saints and modern-day rock musicians. This widespread and varied devotion is a testament to his multifaceted nature and his profound spiritual and philosophical depth. Shiva's followers, known as Shaivites, have expressed their love and reverence for him through poetry, music, art, and profound spiritual practices. In the ancient Tamil tradition of South India, the Nayanars were a group of 63 revered saints who lived between the 6th and 10th centuries. These mystics, from all walks of life, kings, priests, and even farmers and weavers, composed beautiful devotional poems and songs in praise of Shiva. Their works, compiled in the Tirumurai, are considered cornerstones of Shaivism. The Nayanars' devotion was characterized by a deep personal relationship with Shiva, often portraying him not as a distant god, but as a compassionate friend, a loving partner, and a powerful guide. Their simple, heartfelt expressions of love and surrender to Shiva became a popular and influential form of worship that spread throughout the region and beyond. Their stories, often filled with miracles and profound acts of devotion, serve as an enduring inspiration for all who seek a personal connection with the divine. Over the centuries, countless other mystics and yogis have been drawn to Shiva's path. His form as the ultimate yogi and master of meditation makes him a central figure for those on the path of self-realization. Many schools of yoga and tantra trace their origins back to Shiva, who is considered the Adi Yogi, the first guru. For these practitioners, Shiva is not just a deity to be worshipped, but a state of consciousness to be attained. They seek to emulate his detachment, his profound stillness, and his ability to hold the dualities of life in perfect balance. They see him as the ultimate source of spiritual knowledge, the one who has transcended all limitations and has achieved a state of pure being. In the modern era, Shiva's appeal has extended far beyond the traditional boundaries of religious practice. His image as a rebellious, unconventional, and transformative force has made him a powerful symbol for a new generation of spiritual seekers. Rock musicians and counterculture artists in particular have been drawn to his paradoxical nature. The image of the wild-haired ascetic who lives in cremation grounds, smokes cannabis, which is often associated with him, and dances a dance of destruction and creation resonates with those who feel alienated from mainstream society. He is seen as a symbol of rebellion against conformity, a deity who finds beauty in the unconventional and the chaotic. This modern interpretation of Shiva shows that his themes of destruction and transformation are timeless and can be applied to personal, social, and even artistic contexts. The devotees of Shiva are united by a common thread, a deep understanding of his role as the ultimate transformer. They see him as the god who destroys ignorance, ego, and illusion to make way for a higher consciousness. His devotees do not fear his destructive power, but revere it as a necessary and purifying force. They know that true growth often requires a kind of spiritual destruction, a burning away of the old self to reveal the new. This is why his followers are so varied. The path to personal transformation is unique for every individual. Whether through the poetic devotion of a Nayanar, the rigorous practice of a yogi, or the artistic expression of a musician, Shiva offers a path for all who are willing to embrace the paradoxes of life and to seek a deeper truth. The enduring popularity of Shiva is a testament to his profound and universal message. He is a god who embodies the entire spectrum of existence, from the sublime to the terrible, from the personal to the cosmic. He is a mirror for our own inner contradictions, and a guide for how to navigate them with grace and purpose. He is a deity who can be approached in a million different ways, and in each of those ways he offers a unique and transformative spiritual experience. The long and vibrant history of his devotees shows that his teachings are not static. They continue to evolve and resonate with new generations, confirming his role as the eternal transformer of the human soul.